Hello everyone, the Overplayer back, and today I'm going to be doing a full tier list on every single gun within the Call of Duty Vanguard beta. Now, I have ranked up pretty much all of these all the way, the exceptions being the Kar98K, and I believe there was a pistol that I wasn't able to get to, or maybe it was the Grand. There was some other gun that I didn't get to. But either way, I have a lot of experience with all of the guns, so I know what I'm talking about. So, let's get right into it. First of all, we're going to be doing the bar, and I would say the bar was probably an A tier. Pretty good, and I really enjoyed using it. Hit well, didn't have a lot of recoil. Kinda overpowered in my opinion, but definitely not too much so. Next we have the Bren, which is an LMG that no one really touched, and that's gonna be it's not awful. It definitely could be better, but the issue with it is the clip. You can see how the clip kind of comes out of the top of the gun right here. That made it extremely hard to aim down sights no matter what sight I was using. It's so much of a visibility issue that it results in a lot of deaths, which is really annoying. This next gun I thought was really underrated, which is the Dinner Plate 27. This was an LMG as well, and it had this unique kind of plate that you would put on top, and that was going to be your ammo. It was surprisingly mobile, and I could treat it kind of like an AR LMG hybrid. Next, we have the Itera Burst, and that's an F. I hated this gun. The burst delay was too much. It had really bad sprint out time, and it did not do enough damage considering how long the burst was, the burst delay. Next, we have the Kar98K, and I'm going to say that's probably an A tier. The Kar98K was something I definitely enjoyed using, but I think it could stand to be better. I think all the sniper rifles could compared to these other guns. The problem is that the sprint out times are really bad, and the Kar98K I found did not have as good of a one-shot range as I would like, and also a lot of the attachments would decrease the damage, which was really annoying. M1 Grand, that's going to be, I think, a D as well. So the M1 Grand was decent, but the main issue with it was the recoil, which you could mitigate with attachments, and once you did that, it was still pretty good, but the magazine size was really small. You have to reload a lot, and if you don't empty the mag, then it's going to take you a lot longer to reload. It was really annoying in that respect, and also, there was no real range that it excelled at. Any long range, a sniper rifle could pick you off, and any short range, an AR or an SMG could just kill you first. Alright, the MG42. I think this was the other gun that I didn't rank up, but I'm gonna put that as a C. It definitely could stand to be better, but it's just average. There's nothing special about it. Next, we have the machine pistol, and I'm actually going to put this at a B tier. I think this was really underrated. Maybe not really underrated. People definitely kind of figured out how to be a little janky with it. But once you kind of ranked this up and got a 40 round mag for it, it was really fun to use. This was maybe not the best gun, but a really fun gun. Alright, next we have the MP40. That is an S tier. This was really overpowered, and it was pretty much the meta for the entire time. No other gun really competed with it except maybe the STG at longer ranges, or at super long ranges, one of the snipers. Auto-loading shotgun. So this I'm going to be putting at C, a D. It's going to have to go with D. So the reason that this is a D is because it's not as bad as people make it out to be. The issue that a lot of people ran into was that they thought you could aim down sights with it. You don't aim down sights with the shotguns in this game. I don't know why, but I talked about this in my shotgun video where you just have to hip fire. You're going to have terrible range, but anyone within your crosshairs, which are unreasonably wide, but the pellet count makes up for it, they will die. Especially once you have incendiary rounds, it helps a lot with that too. Alright, the 1911 I'm going to put, I would say, in C. 1911 is not awful, but it is not great. The fire rate really kind of holds it back, and it makes it a little hard to use. However, if you can land your shots, it's definitely worth using. I would say the machine pistol is still a little better, but if you want more damage within your mag, then the 1911 is a good place to go. Next, we have the 3-line rifle. I'm actually going to put this at an A tier. For quick scoping, it's not the greatest. However, it's really consistent, and as a sniper, I think it works really well. You can tell what they designed it for, and for that purpose, I think it works well. The sprint out time, I still think could be cut down a little along with the ADS time. I think they need to make quick scoping a little more viable, and that's why these aren't like S tier or anything, but I definitely could see people using these to their full potential. Next, we have the Rat, and that's going to be an E. It's definitely not as bad as the Itera Burst. However, it's basically like a worse 1911. Yeah, it has a faster fire rate, but it's still a semi-auto pistol. I think that they want this to be like the M19 for Modern Warfare, but the thing is the fire rate is still a little too slow. And also, the damage is like the M19, but it's just got a worse fire rate, so you're just kind of suffering all around, and with the overpoweredness of some of these other guns, it's just very hard to use. Alright, the Revolving Shotgun, that is F. Immediate F because you can only kill one person, maybe two if you start colliding people with it, and the reloads are so insanely long that I would say you die before you could even kill someone else. I maybe went on 1 or 2 5 streaks in the whole time that I ranked this up, and that took like 4 hours. It was a pain to use, and it really needs to have some sort of speed reload or something like that. It needs that, or at least be a one shot, because it wasn't even that. The Sten, I'm gonna probably put at a C tier. The Sten was not bad, but it definitely could stand to be better. It was kind of that middle of the road SMG, but the problem is, as we'll see with the last couple guns, that other things just outclassed it. There was no reason to use the Sten over the other SMGs. It didn't have any special properties, and so it just kind of was lackluster for its class. Alright, STG. That's going immediately in the S tier. Once you had the incendiary rounds, people basically couldn't see you once you started shooting at them. It is what it is, and it also had good range, it's balanced all around, and you could kind of use it wherever. The only time you wouldn't have a fun time was if you were challenging someone with a shotgun or the Thompson or something, maybe the MP40 up close. Speaking of, use the Thompson. That's also going to be S tier. It was really, really good along with the MP40. I could see it argued being maybe A tier, but maybe it is A tier. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna move that down to A tier here. The MP40 was just better than it, and that's the reason I'm kind of moving it down. It was definitely a really good gun, but not great. Sorry, it was great, but it wasn't top tier. It wasn't like this is the meta. It could definitely compete with the meta, but it wasn't the meta. The Volk was something that not many people got to try out because of how long it took to rank stuff up, but I would say that's a B tier. The Volk was very odd in that it was one of the only hybrid guns we had, really, maybe aside from arguably the DP-27. But it was meant to be an SMG AR hybrid, but the thing is, I think it leaned too hard into its AR kind of properties. It had good handling, but the problem was you couldn't use it at long range, so it basically was just a worse SMG. I think you'd need to reduce the recoil on it a little bit. Maybe PC players had a better handle on this than I did, or maybe I couldn't control recoil well, so maybe that was just my fault. But that was kind of my experience with it. It was just a worse SMG, however, it definitely could compete at the close range. Like on Eagle's Nest, if you played that map, this was the gun to use on that. And finally, we have the NZ41. I thought this gun was slept on. I really enjoyed it. It did a lot of damage. The recoil was kind of high, but it felt like a version of the bar with maybe a little faster fire rate. And so for that, I'm actually going to also put it in A tier. Or A tier is a little crowded here. But I definitely think this is a gun that you guys should try out. This also suffered the same issue, though, where you couldn't get it until like level 27, and most people didn't hit that. So it was kind of hard to get. But yeah, this is my tier list. Now, you will notice that the bazooka, the knife, and the Panzerschreck are not on here. That is because I didn't use those. I did not touch them at all. I saw some gameplay of the bazooka from Dev trying to shoot stuff down, which looked awful. But I never saw him really use it as an actual weapon. And the knife I did see from these knives only. I did take a look at that. It looks decent, but the thing is I haven't played with it, so I feel like that for an opinionated tier list, it wouldn't make sense for me to just go off what someone else had said, and also that from a highlight vid of all things. So that's why those aren't on here. But if you, from my experience from seeing them, I would probably put the two launchers in F or E, and then I'd probably put the knife probably in D, just from what I've seen. But yeah, that'll about do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and if you like what you see, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Alright, bye-bye.